What is going on, everyone? The NFL is so close, I can taste it. I can literally taste it. The biggest discussion on the market as of today is Ezekiel Elliott. Right into the Eagles' wheelhouse. Let's be real. The NFC East, it's important. Ezekiel Elliott he's holding out. He's holding out. He doesn't want to play for the Cowboys until he gets a new contract. Now, I want the Cowboys to sign him because they also have to pay Dak Prescott, because they also have to pay Amari Cooper. And let's be real, it's not like I think Jerry Jones knows what he's doing when it comes to spending the money. He's not like Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman is a magician. And whether you're bothered by how much that is used or not, it's reality. What Carson Wentz's contract, what that was structured like, is pretty much Howie Roseman laughing at the league, laughing at the other GMs. You can't even have football people, smart football people that understand how money works in this league. You can't even have those people figure out what Howie Roseman did with Carson Wentz's contract. How this relates to Jerry Jones, I believe he's the total opposite. He's an older gentleman who just has a ton of money and doesn't understand all the ins and outs and all the loopholes that Howie Roseman does. So I want him to spend the money on Zeke. But realistically, if I'm put in the position that Jerry Jones is in, and I'm the guy making the decision, kick rocks, bud. Kick rocks. It's nothing against Zeke's talent. Because as football fans, we can all agree that he's smart. As fans who watch Red Zone for 8 hours a day and then watch Sunday Night Football and bleed football all the time, as fans of the game, we understand his value. We know he's talented as hell. He's hard to bring down. He can really go downhill. He's tough, right? He hits hard. We know that. We know that. But we also know that running backs are just not valued in this league. You can plug in anyone. You actually can plug in anyone. Take a look at who made the Super Bowls, who won the Super Bowls over the last few years. The Patriots, they're kind of an outlier because they plug and play anybody, and it works at any position. I mean, even quarterback. They can do whatever they want, so they're kind of skewed. But the Eagles win with running back by committee. You have the Rams last year make it to the Super Bowl, and Todd Gurley gets hurt. What happens? C.J. Anderson, of all people, steps in and does a fantastic job. When the Falcons made the Super Bowl, I know they lost to the Patriots, but they were really in control there with Freeman and Coleman. They're not Zeke's. They're not Saquon Barkley's. When the Panthers were in the Super Bowl, Artis Payne, Stewart. Really? When Denver was in it, C.J. Anderson. When the Ravens won, who? My point being, you can plug in anyone at running back. You really can. In today's era, the running back is just not that valuable. And what Zeke is looking for, which is a hefty payday, you can't do it. If you want to have a team that is going to be built successfully, you can't spend that much money on a running back. Think about using that money in other positions. And still using a decent portion of it, acquiring running backs that are serviceable. So many running backs in this league can hop into an offense and run. Like, that's the nature of the beast. I'm sorry, Zeke. I understand you're one of the best in the league at that position. The problem is that position can be filtered in. Random guys can fill that role and be good enough. And they don't have to be paid to an extreme. But once again, as an Eagles fan, go ahead, Jerry Jones. Do it. Spend that money. Be in a big-time predicament. I hear Dallas Cowboys fans blaming their management, saying, Zeke, go get yours. This league is all about players getting screwed. Go get yours, Zeke. We'll blame Jerry Jones. That's laughable to me. If you're a smart fan base, it's so simple. Sorry, Zeke. And you've seen the Dallas Cowboys before make a big-time splash by getting rid of a player, acquiring some other pieces, and things worked out for them. Of course, I don't want that to happen once again as an Eagles fan, but if I'm putting myself in the position of the Dallas Cowboys right now and the GM spot, I wouldn't even blink twice. It's an easy decision. Zeke, I'm sorry, you're either taking this, and I'll put my best offer out there, or we're going to have to move on. Because I can't value that position like that. The right move is realistically to move on from the guy. Not only that, let's be real. He's a head case. He causes problems. You're hearing reports now that there were some things that were thrown under the table back when they were in a playoff game. There's a lot of drama tied to his name. And that's not why I'm making this decision. Let's be clear. If he didn't want this much money, I'm bringing him back any day of the week. But it comes down to, well, you can throw the off-the-field issues in the mix, and it can make it easier for you to kind of discuss what he's worth. Use it against him, whether you think it's right or not. Yo, Zeke, you've done this, you've done that, you've done this, you've done that, you've done that, you did that, and you did that. Why should I pay you? The problem is, though, it's getting ugly. The longer it goes, the longer it drags out. It's not just affecting Zeke and Jerry Jones and the organization and the fan base, but everyone inside. Dak, Amari Cooper, Vander Esch, everyone. There's a weird sense in the locker room. What's going on? Why is one of our leaders not here? I know players are all about players getting paid, but still, when it's happening, and when it's somewhat of an ugly holdout, it factors in. Especially for a team that has high hopes. Especially for a team that did some damage last year in the division. Now keep in mind, every year is so different when it comes to the NFL. There's always a team that goes from the bottom to first. There's always this team that you think is going to be fantastic and they fall to third in the division. Like, that always happens. But they did well last year. They have a chance to keep rolling with that, progressing forward. And here's a major setback. Jerry Jones, though, is either going to play this one of two ways. And it's already somewhat passing the line. He's either going to wait too long, and it's going to really blow things up. Because you can't take too long with this process. You just can't. You got to make a decision and move forward. And be clear. Well, he can either take way too long with this process, or he's going to overpay him and then really screw his football team. I don't know. I just don't see him making the right decision. Because guess what? That would have been done by now. Unless he's trying to smooth talk it through. But listen, Zeke's not going to budge. I do find it funny that Le'Veon Bell is tweeting about Zeke doing his thing. Go get your money. Listen, Le'Veon Bell, I respect you. I think you're a good talent. I think you're a good player. You didn't make a good decision. It didn't work out for you. You went to New York. You went to the Jets. You didn't get what you thought you would. You sat out that entire year with Pittsburgh. There was this feud going between management, the head coach, you, Antonio Brown, Big Ben. It was a mess. But for what? You didn't get what you thought you would. You didn't get what you expected to. And you go to the New York Jets. This doesn't look like it's going to end well for Zeke. It's a position that just isn't valued. It is nothing to do with his skill set. And realistically, like I said, it doesn't have anything to do with his off-the-field issues. But you can throw that in to help, get the contract that you're looking for. But it comes down to one thing. I could play that position. Put Hunter Brody behind Carson Wentz. Give me the football. Open up a gap. Hit the A gap, and I'll be good to go. I'll gain 5, I'll gain 6, I'll gain maybe even 7 yards. You've seen it happen. And you can use trends. You can use the past. Take a look at what teams go far. Is it about the powerful running back these days? It's about the quarterback, of course. And realistically, the diva wide receivers are becoming bigger than the running back. But even them, take a look at teams who go far. Do they have the Antonio Browns every year? No. The Eagles won it. Their number 1 was Alshon Jeffrey. Once again, I can't use the Patriots as an example. Just spitballing off the top of my head, I go back to Denver. When they won, their defense won it. You can argue the Eagles' defense maybe not played so great in the Super Bowl because Tom Brady had 500-plus yards, but throughout the entire season, their defense was what won them football games, and then at the end of the day, one huge defensive stop in the Super Bowl by the pass rush, which was their biggest thing on their team all season long, that made the play. Brandon Graham made the play. It's funny, and it doesn't make sense, because offense is today's game. Offense is today's game. Yet, the running back isn't valued very high. It's not like big-time wide receivers are in the Super Bowl every year. So it is weird to think about, well, what do you attack, right? What do you attack as a GM? Well, you win in the trenches, do you not? Defensive line, offensive line. Got to get your tackle. Got to protect your quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback is big. And it's even to the point now where everyone wants a shutdown corner, but corners can only do so much. It's realistically all about getting pressure to the quarterback. If you don't get that pressure, it doesn't matter what cornerback you have back there. For the most part, it's going to get beat. If you can't get to the quarterback and he has plenty of time in the pocket. So I sit here and laugh because I say all these positions aren't worth it, and I look back at what teams win the Super Bowl, and I look back at what receivers they have and what running backs they have, and they're not these big-time names, they're not these big-time splashes. But yet offense is what wins you games these days. It's all about the offense. It's an offensive league. It's funny. It really is funny. And speaking of, offense and just good teams in general, odds are out. The odds are out for who's going to have the best record in football. And I'm sure you're not surprised. Really, I'm sure you're not. But the Patriots have the best odds. Plus 450. 9-2 odds. The Eagles are on this list, by the way. So let's roll through it. Patriots are number 1. Rams, 7-1. I don't see the Rams having the same type of season that they had last year. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. I just don't think that they are. It's hard. Come on. I heard about Super Bowl hangovers for so long. I witnessed one last year. And we found a way. We just found a way a little too late. But physically, there's a hangover because you don't have your team fully locked and loaded and ready to go because they're not healthy. Emotionally. It's a real thing. And I know they didn't win the Super Bowl, but they got to the Super Bowl. I don't see the Rams being the same. The Saints, 8-1. Now, I can see the Saints being good. Absolutely. Drew Brees is still kicking it. Drew Brees is still doing his thing. And I'm actually a big fan of Drew Brees. I just hate the Saints. The Chiefs are also 8-1. The Colts are 8-1. And I respect Andrew Luck. I know he's a good dude. I know he fought through adversity. I know he's a good quarterback. Everyone praised him for what he did last year, getting that team to where he did. Frank Reich being a big big part in that as well. And also, the youth of that team is very intriguing, and it keeps things interesting. But to have them that high on the list, I don't know if I saw it to that degree. I thought Andrew Luck was good, but not elite. Call me crazy. Am I crazy? I thought he was good. No one knew what to expect because of the injury. Where would he be when he came back? He was good. I think he did better than I expected him to. But I also should see people blowing it out of proportion on how good he was. He was good. He was good. He wasn't elite. They're at 8-1 as well. So 3 teams at 8-1. Chargers at 9-1 and Birds at 10-1. So we're up there. And when it comes to the best record in football, it can get a little iffy because certain divisions are won by a specific week, and maybe you take the last week off, or hell, if you're lucky, even the last 2 weeks off if things are kind of solidified for you. So best record in football, it gets scary. It's similar to, say, hockey. Like, I'm always afraid to bet hockey because you look at the spread and, oh, okay, this team needs to win by 1. Or this team, has to win by a certain amount. And then the one team pulls the goalie. And you can't know that that's going to happen. There's no way to know that's going to happen. And it can screw everything up and it's fluky. It's fluky. Well, that's how I feel about long-term bets like the best record in football by the end of the season. But it's nice to know the Eagles are in the mix. You see things, rankings from Pro Football Focus about the Eagles. Best receiving core. They got a good O-line. And people get all giddy about it. Their stomach gets all excited. I'm sorry, I can't value Pro Football Focus. I've seen so many ridiculous statements come out of that outlet. I can't trust it. I can't believe it. So if I'm going to rip them apart for the horrendous things that come out of their outlet, I can't get all happy and get all juiced up about the receiving core that they think the Eagles have or the offensive line. Like, I understand they're good. I know they're good. Their line, their O-line, and their receiving core, I know they're good. But I actually despise Pro Football Focus. I think they're a waste. I think they're a hot take machine, and I don't believe what they say. For the most part. That doesn't mean I don't believe the Eagles have the best receiving core, but all around there are some things that come out of their mouths where I sit there and I shake my head and I think it's complete nonsense and a joke. So I'm anti-Pro Football Focus. How did I get to Pro Football Focus? I'll be honest with you. I have no clue right now. It's late. Well, actually, it's early. I'm recording this early as hell in the morning. I just watched a Phillies game. I watched them look horrendous. I watched them show no heart. And I'm hoping the Eagles show me heart. I'm hoping they show me heart in some preseason football. How about that? And speaking of the Eagles, though, I do have a great podcast coming soon. Let's just say that. I'll leave it there. But there are some exciting YouTubers, Eagles related, coming on the podcast, and it will be out soonish. Let's go with that, soonish. But it's going to be very entertaining. Speaking of preseason, though, you had Hard Knocks come out. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good. Episode 1 came out. You have the Raiders on there. Jon Gruden being the personality that he is. I think that adds value to the show without a doubt. He cracks me up. We all know his voice. We heard it on Monday Night Football for so long. He has that football voice. Football people just crack me up. The football guys, the football coaches, the people who believe in football all day long. They breathe it. They sleep it. They eat it. They watch film all the time. Those type of coaches, which is all the coaches in the NFL, of course, but they crack me up. When he's standing there talking to his team, he's standing there talking to everybody for the first day of training camp. He's trying to hype up what he believes is true, what he believes the Raiders organization is supposed to be about. And they always talk about and use the statement football team. We're going to be a good football team. Like those words when they are used properly and executed perfectly. I love it. Like, football is back. That's beautiful. And hearing it from someone like Jon Gruden, it gives me that smile when I'm watching TV. But I thought it was entertaining. AB takes the hot air balloon over. Now, reports say that Antonio Brown didn't wear the proper footwear when he was going into one of those frost things for his body, and he has frostbite on his feet. And that's why he's struggling. Come on, you got to use your brain. Why couldn't you put the booties on? Are they too good for you? I mean, look what it cost you. Now, it's nothing serious, but that's dumb. It's as simple as putting on the proper attire. It's putting on the proper protection. You're a serious athlete now. You got to take this seriously. That's a dumb mistake. That's an immature mistake. That's not being a professional. Once again, is it the end of the world? Is it going to keep him out forever? No. But that's something that can easily be fixed. Put on the damn boots. I thought the safety was hilarious. The first round pick safety. They went out to eat with Derek Carr, and he's talking a lot. He's also hitting guys in shorts. When you're in practice in shorts, he's hitting guys being physical, trying to be aggressive. He's got a loud mouth. He talks a lot. He just wants to hit all the time. He's going to be an entertaining part of the show. There's no denying that. But I think this is a good team for it. It's a good organization for it. It's something new. You have big-time personalities in there. I'm looking forward to week 2. As the show gets going and you start to see preseason games and you get to see practice and you get to see cuts, it intensifies. It gets better. There's nothing like Hard Knocks. You hear the intro. You hear the voice of the documentary. It's step 1. It's step 1 to football season really being back. I'm just picturing right now in my head the theme song. Watching everyone run around. It's fantastic. Some other news, though. Nick Bosa of the 49ers had to get an MRI on his ankle sprain. Top pick in the draft. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. It seems like they might shut him down for preseason. Some other news. The Steelers, Hayden, ankle injury. Went down in practice. I hate that stuff. There's no way to stop it either. There's no way. This is the nature of the beast. It's crazy to me, though, that football is so bad when it comes to injuries. It's constant. It's to the point where you don't practice because you can get injured so easily. Isn't that insane? It's to the extreme. Like, this sport is to the extreme with injuries. You have the older guys. Oh, back in my day, we would do 3 a days, 4 a days. It was brutal. We'd be throwing up constantly. We got our asses kicked every day at training camp. These players are so soft these days. But it's absurd, the level of injuries. It's absurd how frequent it happens. And you can't take that risk. Like, you actually can't. I believe they're soft at times, absolutely, but I'd rather be soft as hell than lose one of my star players in training camp. And realistically, that might even happen anyway. I put it in the Eagles' perspective. Grugier Hill goes down. LeBlanc goes down. Osman goes down. Like, you're losing guys for a legit serious amount of time because of injuries that happen in practice, and you can't stop it. This game is so brutal on the body. I think of players like Jason Peters. I think of guys like Joe Thomas. I think of guys who play this game in the trenches forever. I played NCAA Division III college hockey. I played some Junior A hockey up in Vermont in the Eastern Hockey League. My body hurt me after seasons. My body hurt me 75% through a season. Hurt me bad. To the point where I couldn't move, had to foam roll constantly, had to make sure my joints were moving all the time, or else I would lock up insanely. That's laughable to these guys. What I felt after a season is what they feel after week 2. And guess what? How many more weeks are there after that? I don't think the NFL is ever going to die. I'm not going to that extreme because there are plenty of people who think the sport is so insane that it will die out at one point and it will become non-contact. It might even become flag football. The reason I don't think it will go that far is because of people like us, fans like us, the crazy people that will spend thousands of dollars to tailgate a game, travel to a game, freak out, spend money on booze, paint our faces, wear the spiked shoulder pads. Like, there's so many nuts fans out there that I can't see it ever going away, no matter how brutal it can get. But I feel for some of these people. And I'm not going to the brain level. I'm going to the physical level. The brain level, I don't even want to think about that because it's scary. But I'm talking straight physical, body aching. I think I might need knee replacements at some point because my knees are so screwed up from playing the game from the age of 4 to 23. I don't even want to know what they're going through. But hey, it all starts. It all starts. We're going to get Eagles preseason football. We're going to see other headlines around the league. Keeping it in the NFC East, how is Daniel Jones going to do in his first debut in preseason? Imagine if he throws 4 or 5 picks and the New York media rips him apart. Now that's a little aggressive. I'm not going to go to that extreme. But imagine 1 pick, 2 picks. Or what if he looks unreal? And it gets all blown out of proportion. Daniel Jones is sick. He threw for 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. Maybe they put up a picture on the front page of the New York Times of Eli Manning on the bench with one of his famous faces with his mouth wide open, looking stunned. There is nothing better. There is nothing better. I love the fall. You know how people talk about seasonal depression? I was talking to my girlfriend about this, and she looked at me like I had 7 heads. Everyone talks about seasonal depression, which is a real thing. Absolutely. Everyone gets depressed at a certain time. Not everyone, but it's more realistic to get depressed at a certain time. There's less daylight. The clocks get turned back. Darker. I'm the opposite. I believe this. I'm the opposite. I believe I get seasonal depression in the summer, in July, in August, because there's no sports. I don't know why. I'm just using that as an example. Maybe it is because there's no sports besides baseball. But once fall comes and it's October, I love late September and October. I know I spoke about this before, but that's the best. Halloween time. It's a little chilly outside, but it's not freezing, although I love the cold. I mean, I lived in Vermont for 2 years. I love the cold. But fall's the best. And that's when my seasonal depression ends. I find that funny. It's almost as if football is the fix. But I love it. I love October. That's the best. Early November. Oh, stop. Stop teasing me with a good time. I can't handle it. All I'm thinking about right now are the birds running out of the tunnel. I thought this would be an interesting podcast, a little all over the place with some football talk, but let's be real, that's the anticipation. Football, football, football. I could, of course, do another Phillies podcast where I roast them, where I rip them apart, but I feel like I've done that for so many weeks now, I needed something fresh. What am I supposed to talk about? The White Sox series where we fell apart and lost at home? Or this Arizona Diamondback series where we lose 2 of 3 and we look like crap? I just feel like I've been crushing them for so long now, deservingly so, but I needed something new. And the Zeke news was perfect. It's a big-time topic. I'm not paying him. The position has no value right now. I'm not paying him big-time bucks. Not when I need to pay Dak and I need to pay Amari Cooper. I just wouldn't do it. But I expect Jerry Jones to screw this up somehow because he's too old school. And he has too much pride to make the right decisions, to bring in people who really know what they're doing in today's era. He's just too old school. He could be the owner, fine. But whatever. His pride's going to get in the way. And that's fine with me. I don't care as an Eagles fan. I thought Hard Knocks was great. I thought the odds for the best record was entertaining. I would love to hear what you guys have to say on this. If you're on the YouTube version, of course, you can comment down below. If you're listening to it on the podcast app, there is no way to comment, but you can leave a rating and a comment. Not a comment, but a review on the podcast on your respected device. And I would really appreciate that. If you don't have that football itch by now, God bless you. God bless you. Because it's a good itch. It's a good itch. It's an itch that's very anticipated, but you need it. You should have it by now, though. I expect everyone to have it. Get me to the regular season, everyone says. And you're right. But you're still going to see some football. It's going to be some backups. It's going to be things of that nature, but you're still going to see some football. Thank you guys so much for listening. And I will see you on the next podcast, which I believe will be with some special guests.